And I felt like bringing this up, guys, because and not to kind of disrupt the flow here, Tim. And you said we don't really have much to talk about anyway. We were talking about teams being more defensive in tournaments and it being more practical for them to be a bit more conservative. Does that go against the logic that Klopp should be an international manager? Because first of all, if we're talking about Klopp, at least based on the sample size that we have for him, positive manager, he needs multiple practice sessions to kind of drill in his gegenpress. It's not just something that he can get a few guys for like 2 weeks and then expect them to press pinpoint. So like the calls for him being England manager, being US national team manager, I think is frankly ridiculous. I don't know what you guys think, because this is a guy who needs an entire season's worth of football to get his style in.
I know I can make a case for and against that with like Austria, for example, because I do agree. And I've said this for years. I don't think Klopp will be a good international manager, mainly because he's more like the practice pitch manager. That's why we sign people and never see him for like 6 to 8 months until they, they do it on the pitch, and he has full confidence in them in terms of like doing the press or being the right place at the right time and stuff like that. They don't hit the pitch. Well, that's very hard to do in international soccer, where you get like a week, 2 weeks and stuff like that with these guys at most. And then also, when you do it like Austria did, that's the risky proposition. You lose to a team against like Turkey, who probably, I would say, obviously one is playing defense and one is playing attacking. They probably should have scored more. We got it from like set pieces and stuff like that. But you are opening yourself, Gordo, to not having success because you're playing that open, and you're gonna leave spaces behind and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know what would have happened if Austria kept advancing and played against like some of the other bigger teams, but I feel like that aggression can be exploited a lot easier because it's hard to get that aggression on the same page. I talked about this last week. Like, it's a lot easier to get random people and say, okay, here's our defensive shape. But pressing, breaking down the defense and stuff is a lot harder to get random people on the same page on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can make a case for and against, because I think, tactically and the sample size that we have of Klopp, it'd be easy to say that he just wouldn't fit in an international setting. However, it would be a really good, at least from a neutral point of view, a good experiment, because Klopp could reinvent himself. He could take some time off and kind of reinvent. It might be nice for him to just go in and be like, you guys are professional players. You made the national team because not only do you play professionally, but you're the best in this country. So go out there and have fun. Here's how we're going to set up and just play. It would be fun to watch, because that's my thought is like this England team. How much process do we need? I struggled. Are they succeeding in spite of Southgate, or are they do they get to the 80th minute and go, this shit isn't working, let's just play, and then they score the late goals and that's how they win? Or is it that's part of the system and all these ultra professional guys are just like, no, we can't break out, Southgate told me not to go forward? It just doesn't make sense. I'd love to see one team just be like, fuck it, you're starting in defense, play however you want, enjoy it, and we'll see what happens. I would like to watch that. I don't think it would end well for Klopp, but I think he would be the manager to do it, right? You just show up, and it's kind of like a little vacation where you meet up with people that speak the same language as you for a little bit and play soccer, and I'd love to see that.
We either win 7-6 or lose 8-0. There's no
exactly.
Probably. And I think, it would definitely be more fun to watch than this England team, for example. And you might be right. It might be a lot of, we talk about all the results and stuff like that, but this is a team that was 90 seconds away from getting eliminated in one round, advanced with penalty kicks on the next round. It's not but it works. They're winning. When we talked about in the past about Italy and stuff like that, they would win 2-0, bore you to death, or 2-1 and bore you to death, but they would win. Whereas I felt like this team was literally backing into freaking everything, and I think
they got the good side of the bracket as well.
Right? Yes, and that was another thing. They got the easier routes, they had the easier group, so you would argue that probably it's the most rested team as they advance in that sense. Except they made it hard on themselves. But yeah, I honestly think Ryan says I do think Klopp will do well with a well-established team like England, they will definitely score more goals. They would definitely score more goals because he would start Trent and he would be up there. But then, there will be nobody to cover the right hand side. But I mean, here's the thing: like you guys, you're saying, Gordo, and you were saying it too, John. I mean, you have all these guys. They know their strengths and weaknesses. I think Sergi was talking about Kane earlier. Like, you know what fits and what doesn't fit. And you know what Kane likes to do. Then why don't you have the wingers do what Kane likes to do? You know, like what he did at Tottenham with Son and stuff like that.
Yeah,
no,
I would
like,
love
I'm
to
going to
see
play everybody that is good, but not why they're good. They just, and then change what they're good for. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I would love to see Kane in a Klopp 4-3-3 with that false 9 role. He's just going to cook there with like 2 wingers who cut inside with like an Anthony Gordon and then Trent supplying him from the right back. Yeah, that would be great. Problem is we're going to probably concede 4 after scoring 4 anyway. So, but hey, it's nice to dream, right?
I think that people, at least after Southgate, it would be the perfect time for him to come in. Because I think that's like you can hang your hat on. Because Temujin said something earlier in the program. It's like there's nothing to hang your hat on at the end. It's not like we can look back and go, oh, yeah, England, they lost the final. But, that was exciting and they really tried very hard. And like there's nothing to do with that. It's like, oh, yeah, they lost. It wasn't as exciting at all. There was, if you combined all the games, there was probably 15 minutes of excitement. And 10 of those minutes were the penalties.
I mean, I think it's like, you're like the gas light is on, right? Like you're driving. Yeah, it's a little exciting because you're like, how far are we going to get? But when it runs out of gas, you're like, well, we fucking knew this was coming. Like it's been on forever. So like that excitement is meaningless because you just created it out of nothing. I mean, it just, Sparky says Kane is shit. We had a lot of fun arguments. I mean, I didn't participate in a lot of them, but there was a lot of like heat.
During the Kane exchange, during the Kane exchange, I was just there defending Gakpo on the side. So it was really funny. Like there was like an artillery exchange there, and there was a small skirmish there between me defending Gakpo. So like it's really funny. But I know we don't like doing predictions, right? But if Klopp were to take the England management, like let's give him. How many tournaments did Southgate have? Let's give him Southgate's length, right? Do you guys see him winning a major tournament?
Yes, but he would win the next one, but they would all say, "Oh, well, Southgate said it. It's Southgate's team." Like that, right? They wouldn't give him the credit. I saw a Twitter post and it was just like, "Oh, leave it to England, who like go to Germany singing songs about World War II and how they don't like the Scouse, and then immediately want Klopp as their manager." Like, it's so very British, right?
Would the British even want a German manager?
I saw Carragher talking about it has to be an English dude. I was like, dude, you are in no position to choose right now. When was the last time you guys won anything? Like, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Sparky says no, by the way. I'm assuming that's to the club winning. I agree. I think he would win the next one because people would be like, holy shit, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
Being used to playing England. By the time they figure out the tournament will be over, England would have won. But afterwards, it would go down south. Because people